So you got five revolutions. You got five revolutions. You got five holy revolutions. You got American Revolution. You got the French Revolution. You got the Russian Revolution. You got the Cuban Revolution, and the Haitian. Did I mention the Haitian? Haitian, French, Russian, Cuban, and the American Revolutions. Those are the five revolutions that are holy. They're holy and sacred revolutions, and the reason why they're holy and sacred revolutions is because they were good for their one single country, but they actually did something that was bigger and better for the entire world. When America had, our revolution, we had a constitution, we had a Bill of Rights, we had elections, presidents. So every one of these revolutions had something to add. Every one of these revolutions had something to add. The French, they were chopping off the heads of royalists, and to save the nation, they had to kill the king and queen, right? The French Revolution, they say, went astray with the Reign of Terror. So they went and killed 20,000, right? Tens of thousands. But guess what? People want to make a big deal about Robespierre's Reign of Terror. But what about the Reign of Terror in Mariupol? Well, right now, what about the Reign of Terror in Kiev and Donbass and Luhansk and, South Ossetia? What about the Reign of Terror? Tens of thousands. We've seen tens of thousands that was killed in Mariupol. We've seen tens of thousands of Russian troops who have been killed. At least 3,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed, and tens of thousands goddamn civilians. Tens of thousands of civilians have been killed. So, yeah, Putin ain't no goddamn Robespierre in the French Revolution. That's for goddamn sure. So the American Revolution, we brought the constitutions, we brought, elections, Bill of Rights, presidents. The French are chopping off the goddamn heads of the goddamn, ancient regime. The Haitian Revolution, what a gorgeous, beautiful. Haitian Revolution is like one of the best, most perfect revolutions ever. Oh, it is just Haitian Revolution. You got the oppressed overthrowing the oppressors. It was the French, and they brought a bunch of black folks from Africa, and they were enslaving them. The Haitian Revolution, they heard about the American Revolution, they heard about the French Revolution, and they abolished slavery. So, yeah, to St. Louverture's like, I like that. And then the Haitian Revolution is eventually going to overthrow all them fucking French oppressing motherfuckers. So they repelled their French oppressors. They wiped all their French oppressors out. They redefined blackness. They included Polanders in blackness. And then you come to the Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution solidified the communist as the leftist economic position. So what? You want a nanny state, a welfare state where the workers control the means of production? The communism, it's like, with the Haitian Revolution, it's clearly that the oppressed overthrew the oppressor. It was clear as day, but what if it's not that stark, right? What if it's the working classes being oppressed by the plutocrats? So you don't have, a white aristocracy oppressing 90% of the black masses. Instead, Russian Revolution, Cuban Revolution, I would say this goes to Jordan Peterson's critical mass. Now, Jordan Peterson, they say he's conservative, but they say it's very important for conservatives to pay attention what's going on, on the ground, because when the masses get pissed off and they say, we're going to change the entire order, well, that's going to be terrible for the plutocrats, right? So the plutocrats want to keep shit going, the way that things are going. They want the status quo. And if they want the status quo, then they don't want the whole thing to burst. They don't want the whole thing to blow up. So the U.S. Revolution, French Revolution, Haitian Revolution, Russian Revolution, this is when the masses, when they tip the scale, when they go over and the masses overthrow the rich classes, right? So the Russian Revolution, they're going to solidify communism as an economic system. You only got two main economic systems throughout the entire world. You're going to be capitalist? Oh, okay. You're going to be communist? It's weird in a nation of Christians that they'd be pissed off that communists want to feed their poor. What? The communists want to feed their poor? What the hell? What the hell? Well, I thought we were a free country. You killed 4 million Vietnamese just because they chose a different economic system than you. If anything, that's good for capitalism. They chose a crappy economic system. So you're the capitalist. You want them to have shitty economic systems. What the fuck are you doing? The end of history is, democracy and capitalism. They'll figure it out eventually. What the fuck? You got to force this shit. That's the problem with imperialism is they got to force this shit on people. This shit, you could easily convince people of this stuff. That's how we should win hearts and minds, through persuasion, by the power of our ideals. So the Haitian Revolution, they overthrew the fuck out of their oppressors. The French Revolution chopped the heads of their oppressors. The American Revolution, we said, just get the hell out of here, British. Get the hell out of here, you. The Russian Revolution solidified communism as being, a predominantly leftist economic position. And then the Cuban Revolution is both leftist anti-imperialism. So they're against imperialism and American imperialism at that, but they're also for communism. They're also for a leftist economic position. And when you come throughout the historical discussion between conservative and liberals want to change things. Liberals have bleeding hearts. Liberals care about the community. So that's the power of communists. The power of communists is that they give a damn. They give a damn about everybody. And they were trying, the Russian Revolution, they're going for a world revolution. They wanted an eternal, revolution that went on and on and on forever. That was Trotsky, at least. Trotsky said Stalin, sold out the revolution because he just did, socialism in one country instead of, the international workers of the world taking over the entire globe. So communism cares about the community. Communism cares about the people. Communism cares about other, at least that's what it intends. And then it does, it could get too authoritarian. And also if they're bad at economics, then, that's in the long run, that's going to be bad for everybody. So the Cuban Revolution, the Russian Revolution, the French Revolution, the American Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, or the 5 holy revolutions out here. Robespierre, he killed 20,000. They shit a brick over that, but Putin killed, tens of thousands in Grozny in 1999. Putin killed tens of thousands of people in Mariupol. Tens of thousands Russian soldiers have died in the, rape of Ukraine. This is Ukrainians' war, revolutionary war for independence. Hey, America, can you, think of a time in, a day and era when you were being oppressed by a foreign occupier and you want to be your own nation and you had to repel the foreign imperialist occupiers? How about the U.S. fucking revolution, you stupid motherfuckers? So Ukraine's resistance is their revolutionary war for independence. They're trying to overthrow their goddamn oppressor. They should also get universal basic income, start cutting us some checks, get some ranked choice voting, universal health care, get some Big Macs and Hershey's candy bars for everybody. So Putin's had 3 reigns of terror. People want to say Robespierre killed 20,000. I thought there was 3,000 people in Paris and then like less than 20,000, maybe up to 40,000. So tens of thousands, right? Robespierre killed, 20,000 French citizens because they weren't revolutionary. Them anti-revolutionary motherfuckers. So it was a reign of terror. But Robespierre also gave his life for the revolution. So what the fuck? Adolf Putin, he's killed tens of thousands in Grozny, tens of thousands in Mariupol, tens of thousands of Russian troops have been killed in the rape of Ukraine. So those are reigns of terror. Grozny, reigns of terror going on in Donbass right now, a reign of terror. Didn't America have, aren't we against the war? Don't we have like a war on terrorism? I thought we was opposed to terrorism. So yeah, that's to put the Russian Revolution simply. Basically, you got, they say there was a revolution in 1905, but it failed. So that's a rebellion. That's not a revolution. There's 2 revolutions. One was the February Revolution, and then you had the October Revolution. But it actually happened in November. The October Revolution happened in November. The February Revolution in Russia is when the autocracy, the Tsar, is overthrown. You got the provisional government, Kerensky. You don't have any more illogical, illegitimate, royalist, hereditary secession. And now you got the provisional government who's going to bring it all together. And they tried to do this several times, right? The autocracy, the Tsar has been overthrown in the very beginning of 1917. You also got World War I that's going on. So they were on the side, or they were opposed to the Germans, and then the Bolsheviks were on the side of the Germans. And I think the Germans might have planted the Bolsheviks in goddamn Russia in order to do this whole damn thing. So the February Revolution, they overthrew the royalists in Russia, and then the November Revolution is when the Bolsheviks are going to coup d'etat their way into power. The November Revolution is when Russia joined with Ukraine and other nations, joined and formed the USSR, and then everybody lived happily ever after. The poor were fed, and everybody in the USSR had just too much. They just had too goddamn much. Trotsky, he wanted more than just communism in one country. He wanted communism for the world. He wanted an international proletariat revolution. He wanted Russia to get some communism, and then Latvia and Ukraine and the rest of the world to get some communism too. But Stalin, he only wanted communism in one country. I guess getting, communism established in one country is important and necessary first step, but shit, Stalinism, he ain't no Lenin. Stalinism ain't no Leninism, and Stalinism ain't no Trotskyism. Can I get an amen?